Canada's fighter jet saga has taken a surprising turn. While everyone expected a smooth path toward the F-35, whispers about Sweden's Gripen E refused to fade. Behind closed doors, defense analysts, pilots, and even Pentagon insiders were asking one question. Is Canada really walking away from the Gripen, or is there something else going on? Today, we dive deep into the truth behind Canada's Gripen deal, the technology, the politics, and the secret debates that could change North America's air defense future. For over a decade, Canada has faced a major defense challenge, replacing its aging fleet of CF-18 Hornets. Two main contenders emerged, the American F-35 Lightning II and the Swedish Saab Gripen E. The F-35 promised stealth, deep integration with US and NATO systems, and advanced sensors. But the Gripen E offered something different: freedom, lower costs, and full technology access. Sweden's proposal wasn't just about selling jets. It was about giving Canada control over upgrades, maintenance, and local industry jobs. For many Canadian defense experts, that sounded like true independence. Yet this choice wasn't only about performance. It was about politics and alliances. Choosing the Gripen could have meant drifting from the US defense umbrella. And that made this decision one of the most controversial military debates in modern Canadian history. Saab's Gripen E wasn't designed to dominate through size or cost. It was built to outthink its enemies. With the Arexis electronic warfare suite, the Gripen E can jam enemy radars, deceive missile locks, and control the electronic battlefield. Unlike the F-35, it's easier to maintain, can take off from highways, and uses modular mission systems that let smaller air forces stay flexible. Sweden pitched Canada a deal unlike any other: local production, technology transfer, and real independence from US restrictions. For many in Canada's defense circles, that sounded like freedom. When Sweden offered Canada the Gripen E, the deal promised independence. And that's exactly what worried Washington. The United States has long relied on Canada as a key NORAD and NATO partner, tightly integrated into its defense network. A switch to the Swedish Gripen would have meant a shift away from American control, giving Canada more freedom in upgrades, operations, and even foreign missions. Behind closed doors, US officials reportedly warned that the Gripen could complicate joint operations and weaken interoperability with US systems. But many analysts believe this was more about political influence than technical issues. Suddenly, reports began labeling the Gripen as too risky or untested. Public narratives changed, and the pressure mounted. In the shadows of the Pentagon strategy, Canada's dream of an independent air fleet began to fade, reminding the world that military choices aren't always about performance. They're about power. Officially, Canada announced its F-35 acquisition, but reports suggest Saab and the Canadian aerospace sector have not closed the door completely. Talks about defense technology cooperation, local maintenance, and even Gripen system training have quietly continued. In other words, while Canada might not buy the Gripen now, it may still use Gripen tech. That means Sweden could still play a role in strengthening Canada's defense industry, especially in electronic warfare and radar countermeasures. Some analysts even suggest Canada is keeping Gripen as a strategic backup option, in case F-35 sustainment costs or political issues spiral out of control. Canada's fighter jet debate isn't just a national issue. It's a glimpse into the future of global air power. If Canada had chosen the Gripen E, it could have become a turning point for smaller nations seeking independence from US defense dominance. The Gripen represents a new philosophy, one that values agility, affordability, and sovereignty over sheer size and stealth. Every new Gripen customer, from Brazil to Thailand, strengthens that vision, proving that advanced air defense doesn't have to depend on Washington's approval. Meanwhile, the F-35 remains a symbol of power and integration, but also of high costs and limited freedom. If more nations follow Sweden's path, the balance of air power could shift, from a world controlled by a few superpowers to one where smaller countries fly smarter, not just stronger. So, what's really going on with Canada's Gripen deal? Officially, it's on pause. But behind the scenes, the story isn't over. With shifting alliances and rising maintenance costs for the F-35, Canada could once again look north to Sweden for answers. Because in the battle for the skies, sometimes the smartest jet isn't the stealthiest, it's the one that gives you control. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, should Canada have chosen the Gripen E instead of the F-35?